Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescast, the gaming podcast where we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but we talk about it anyway.
Okay?
It's Thursday.
What's wrong with you?
What?
You look like you're in a murder cave and you sound like someone has like hit you over the head. What's wrong with you?
All right.
Everything's
all right.
made up
Twice
points
if you're
don't
in
matter.
trouble.
let me explain what's going on in the background here. So yes, all my shit is gone. We were recently robbed. No, I'm just kidding. We're moving in like a week and a half. So I have spent literally the entirety
Oh, the same
of the
people who
past...
stole my bathroom also hit your house up, right?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. But yeah. So we're moving to a bigger house a little north of us. We're putting in a motherfucking hot tub.
That's right, Eric. That means
Whoa.
we're going to do a hot tub stream at the charity
hot tub
stream
stream
if we
Oh
get
my
enough
God.
donations.
Is this the year I get invited? Come on.
You're always invited
Reb,
to charity
you are
stream.
literally Reb. Are you serious? Will you come?
When is it?
It's usually in October sometime.
Oh, that's the month I'm moving. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'll do it November for you.
We'll move it. We'll
No,
talk about
maybe-
this later.
The following year.
Yeah.
But that being said, Jeff, this will be relevant to you. I did bring up the idea to Derek today of a new reward tier for punishments for me. So I'll go through this real quick. Jeff, this will mean something to you. Tier number 1, I will dress up as Godbert from Final Fantasy 14.
I feel like you kind of want to dress up as
Yeah, he
Connor.
does.
This is not a punishment.
Let's be clear. I
No,
dressed
no,
up as
no,
a nurse last year, and
no.
let's not pretend I didn't want to dress up as a sexy nurse.
No,
Okay.
it becomes a punishment because tier number the second tier is I have to get up in my Godbird outfit and do the most gentlemanly flex on the camera, and then the third tier is I have to do the Monderville Mambo.
We don't even have to.
I-
We don't have to tell you to flex as a.
Yeah. No,
I don't think.
Guys, the new
how many
punishment
times
is I
you
have to
posted
take a
this?
selfie with a
John,
hammer.
Justin,
no.
Justin,
Please don't donate.
Hold on, hold the fuck on.
I don't think he
For the
should be
past,
allowed
2
to
hours.
pick his own punishment.
Hold the
I think
fuck
other
on.
people should have to
One,
decide
oh,
that
no,
for
one,
him. Otherwise,
one.
it's not really a
You
punishment.
Your
motherfuckers
punishment,
don't
I
know-
have to drink an
Shut up.
old fashioned.
fucking
Oh,
You
okay.
motherfuckers, one. Nobody here but Jeff knows what the fuck Godbert looks like.
I don't know what
he
Godbert
dresses in.
is, but it sounds like something you want. So therefore, I want
no.
to deprive you of it.
Look up the Minderville Mambo, and you that is not something I want to do on camera. It's
Sorry,
it's
one more
the worst.
time. Google, spell this for me. What is this?
Manderville, Manderville.
John, this is absolutely something you want to do.
Mambo. No.
Oh, this is a Final Fantasy thing? Yes,
Yeah,
of course
Reb.
you want to do this.
No, Reb.
I don't even need
Reb,
to look at what this is.
John-
John's
watch
so excited
dance.
to dress up like a hot old butler man and dance across the camera.
All right, I clicked
The
on the
actual
Final
punishment
Fantasy.
should be John dresses up in a purple dress and performs the Honeybee Inn sequence in its entirety.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'll do it.
That's good. I opened up the Final Fantasy 14 wiki, and it says Manderville Mambo, and it's all it says is perform the Manderville Mambo. It's an emote. It doesn't show it, and then immediately
look for a
underneath it
GIF.
are 3 very large images. One of them says, "Here's what a walk-in tub should cost in 2024." Another one says,
Reb, what should a
"New
walk-in tub
SBA
cost?
fund." I'm not going to click on this. Another one says, "I can get a free quote, but I'm not going to do it." Another one says, "New SBA funds available for 2024." And the
You
third
have
one
to look
says,
up a
"Liquid
GIF. Just look up a
Adderall
GIF.
is now legally sold online without a prescription."
Hell yeah!
Really? No shit. Hell yeah. Let's go get some fucking Adderall, boys.
Anyway,
Yeah. At any rate, guys, hey, Reb is on. Hi,
yeah,
Reb.
what's up? Hey,
As you can tell by how hard we all went in on John immediately,
yeah.
which is an energy that you only capture from the old crew.
Oh yeah.
I gotta tell you,
I
These are the
miss
old
you, man.
boys. I know. I miss you
strong
too.
John energy in what I'm
John
gonna
has
straight in the
strongly
regained his authority over the last couple years.
Oh my god.
I will never forget when Reb was like, John, I got a surprise for you tonight. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so great. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm not even gonna tell like oh, it's best surprise. Then I get on, and she's wearing a fucking yellow beanie. And she's
That's
drawn
so
a beard
good.
on her face.
Yeah,
She's
it
like,
was the
"Well done.
beanie too. It was the
Yeah.
Gundam beanie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You use like makeup to draw a fake beard on it. Was so
it
good.
was fantastic.
Yeah. It
I
was
don't know
great.
I don't know what I missed more, that or you slowly rolling off camera
Oh
while
yeah.
you were singing Bahamut Lagoon.
Look,
Like
I'm
that-
not sad to no longer live in an apartment where the floor is
Who's still
sloped at a
doing
slight incline heading towards the windows. So literally all day I'm typing at work and my chair is just
it was the crash after you left the screen that really that
Oh,
really
yeah.
put a bow on the whole thing.
because my kitchen table and chairs were right over there, and so I would just slowly. I was singing and I was not paying attention. I just slowly drifted over and then just blammoed right into the table and chairs.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't live there anymore. I have a lot more space now, and soon I'm not even going to live here. So
Yeah.
maybe I can find a place with an incline.
Are you
Just for
leaving?
old time's sake.
Am I doing
Oh,
what?
that's right. Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah.
moving back.
I am moving back to Kansas City. Yes.
How
Interesting.
lovely.
Did you just miss it? Like,
No, I think I can talk about this now. I think it's probably okay. Yeah, so there's no more IGN office in San Francisco, which is fine. Like it's totally fine. Like it pandemic, right? Like it
Yeah.
just
Right.
kicked their asses. And like, people weren't living in the city anymore. And they tried. We had a really lovely office and I moved out here to work out of that office. And I had a great couple of years doing it. And I got to meet my coworkers and it was a really lovely experience. And then, but I mean, the problem is like nobody was coming in because everybody moved out of the city during the pandemic. So it didn't make sense for them. And they didn't renew the lease. It makes sense. I see Big Slice Gaming in the chat is talking about the office being gone. There is still an office. We do still have an office. It's in Los Angeles. It is freaking hopping. They have like they have a bunch of different studios. Like a ton of people are out there. A lot of the video production stuff is out there. A lot of the sales team is out there. It's like, it's really cool. I've visited like several times now for different productions. It's super fun. Hi, fluffy bat kitty. Yes. It's great. We still have a base of operations. It's just not in San Francisco anymore because honestly, like the people who work at IGN have kind of moved on. Yeah. So SF is not here. There's still quite a few of us based out here. We're all fine. They moved a couple production people out to LA, but for the most part, like all the editors and people who were out here, a lot of people are sticking around. Some of us are talking about leaving. I'm leaving just because it doesn't make sense for me personally to pay rent in the most expensive city in the United States and not have an office to go work in. But like that's just a personal decision, and they've been super supportive of it. So yeah, I'm sad. I am personally sad because I liked working out of an office with my coworkers, and I liked having that brief, beautiful taste of the IGN office experience. But everybody's moving to remote work, so it's okay.
well, Reb, I will also say that you look great, and I see that the bob is back.
The bob. Oh yeah, it kind of.
Yeah.
Well, it sort of is. I cut it short, but my hairdresser who did the bob originally is back in Kansas City, and I miss her. And you can't really tell on camera; it doesn't really work. But the lady who did it here, I think, didn't understand what I wanted, and she did a really good job. It looks good curly, which is what it is now. Like it's kind of you really can't tell on camera. But when I straighten it, the shape is really weird. And so I don't quite have the bisexual bob that I was going for, but I'm learning to embrace the curliness of it. When I get back to KC, I'll have my hairstylist fixed it.
Yeah, no, it's just a look that suits you so well and always has.
Thank you.
You look extreme. You look fantastic. So
No.
and we missed you a great deal. So
Thank you. Yes,
we're
you guys
really
do.
happy you're here.
Love to be back.
So we're coming off of PAX.
I just saw you.
I know.
We are we're coming off PAX. We've got a lot to cover. We got a lot to talk about. Derek, do you want to do the rundown of what tonight's schedule is looking like?
Look, as always, we'll start off talking a little bit about what we've been playing. We'll move into many of us went to PAX East. Reb, I believe you went to GDC.
Sure did.
Which they overlapped, which was bad for everybody. Very
Oh
glad,
my God.
Very glad that that's changing next year.
Thank God.
But we're gonna highlight some of our favorite like smaller titles that we saw at both shows. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about like unions and media because that might be like a little bit relevant.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A union in this economy?
Who knows?
I hope so.
So
In this economy more than
That
ever.
would be ideal, yes.
Derek, do you mind if Finn and I go first?
Yeah, because you all have a cool unreleased thing to talk
Yeah,
about.
we can talk about how I was
Yeah.
apparently the first person in the world to beat a time trial.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like legit. Finn and I were among the first people in the world to play Visions of Mana.
We were the first group. We were the first group.
Thank you to.
I sat in between the two of them because I
so
thought we'd get an
jealous.
interview opportunity. So I didn't get to play, but I watched
Almost
both
did.
of them.
Oh, is
no,
it
we were-
good? Is it
it is-
everything I dreamed
Oh,
of?
we're gonna
It's
get in.
money.
Rev,
It's
Rev, we're gonna get into it.
Oh.
Square
We're gonna
Enix
get
gave
into
this
it.
game
So-
a budget. Like
So first of all, thank you to Square for the invitation. And we were like the first of the scheduled people to play it.
Yep.
Like we were
it was the
ones
first
in there
group, so we were literally the first like crew.
in the world. So
PAX East,
right off the
okay.
bat, this is
World.
the world.
Get their asses, Derek.
No, that's what they said. They said that this was the
We were the
this is-
first group.
Of course
Yep.
they said that to you.
Hey, Chad would never lie to me.
Chad would never lie to us.
Chadley
would.
would.
But
I
Chad
mean,
wouldn't.
it it was technically before the floor at PAX even opened. So
Oh.
like I believe
Well,
that
no, it also
after-
wasn't-
Fine,
it
fine,
also
fine.
wasn't-
You were the first
No,
people
Justin.
in the entire world to play Visions of Mana. Tell me
That's
how good
right.
it was.
It also was not on the floor.
Well, I
but
know that, but I mean, it was very early in the day.
it was
That's all
very
I'll say.
early. But no. So right off the bat, what I'll say is this is Mana with a fucking budget.
Oh my God.
They poured a lot of money into this game. Like I heard Derek, like gasp at how beautiful this.
I was like
fucking game.
ripped to that Grand Blue Fantasy game that just came out like a month ago because Visions of Mana is like that but 10 times more immediately.
Like it is
Side
very
games
very
could
pretty.
fucking never.
It feels
It
like
is-
Square has two budgets. This
Correct.
budget
Yeah,
and
this-
budget.
This one
And they got
accidentally got the
that.
Final Fantasy budget. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
what we
Rev,
want to
like,
hear.
and it extends to like all aspects of it because even the voice acting and the writing already seemed leagues above what Trials gave us.
oh, the
And
character
that wasn't even a
There's not
bad
a-
one.
There's not a single uwu. No uwu to
There's
be
Not
seen.
yet. Whoa. Not
Yeah,
yet.
not
I just
yet.
cursed.
We
Give it
have
time.
not met all the characters.
was-
Let's be
oh,
real.
There was a
Finn,
bit
let's talk
after
Go ahead, Derek.
after John and Finn beat the like demo boss where it
The
went
Mantis
into,
Ant, classic
went,
Mana boss.
went into a cutscene and I was just like in awe of the character.
Derek's jaw
animation
was on the
work.
floor.
Genuinely,
Yeah.
I was like the amount of polish and handcrafted effort that went into the like facial animation, the clothes, the hair, the posing. It was like, oh, you all care about this one. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
re-
This
real
one's
good.
gonna be
It's
special.
good.
Well, you know,
And
we-
then the
we-
gameplay is fun as hell. Like
Well, hold on, Finn. Before we get there, let's because you had mentioned we were talking about like we hadn't met all the characters yet. The character design in this is fucking sublime.
Oh
When
my
you change your
God.
class, which opens up apparently like at the very beginning of the game, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But when you change your class, you get a complete visual makeover. Reb, there's a fucking cat boy. I think his name is like Marlin. But
The internet's
when-
not
when
going to
he-
be normal about this.
right. But when he
No.
no, Reb, check this out. When he assumes the thief class, he holds a dagger in each hand and a fucking dagger in his tail. And
Oh,
it's
good.
fucking
It
outstanding.
feels. Does that feel very bravely to you? Bravely.
a little bit, I can kind of feel
A
the
little
energy.
bit?
No,
Yeah.
no, well, no,
'Cause he's
I don't think
Legion.
so. Because, well,
His
so
tail,
so
like,
so.
"Meh."
I mean, I'll let Finn. Like Finn, like I. It doesn't feel bravely to me simply because like you don't have to beat anyone to actually get these jobs.
Oh sure.
Are we
Um,
sure? Do we know how the new jobs are unlocked?
Yeah,
they're
they're
tied to
attached.
the elementals. However, you
They're
get
tied to the.
those.
Yeah, they're tied to your elementals.
But
which
like, wonderful touch. Every character. So if you have like the sun elemental like class, every character's class is completely different for the
Right,
sun.
yep.
Which means that there's no shared jobs. Every character
Yep.
has a full
Oh, I love
slate
that.
of
Yep.
completely unique jobs that you mix and match. So it
This-
makes you want to go like, okay, well, what is everybody's moon, right? What is everybody's fire or whatever?
I like this so much better. I'm playing. We'll talk about what we're playing, but I before I was playing what I'm playing now, I was playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and it was driving me nuts because there are some classes that are shared amongst everybody, but they've got like weird gender role crap where like the women can only do certain classes and the men can do most of the classes, and it was driving me up the wall like how I had to organize my party based on gender. Anyway, this is great. I love the idea of everybody having like unique shit.
it is, it's fantastic, and there's also a very very Metroidvania feel to it, because there are areas of the world that are locked off until you get certain elementals that let you access new areas, which is a first for the franchise. Finn, I'll pass it off to you.
Okay. So, the first thing you notice is the open world just feels very expansive, and
does.
giving you access to this mount just really allows you to
ride a
traverse.
The puppy!
dog.
The
You cry a
puppy!
little puppy. And the best part is you summon it with a little bell, but
Yeah.
the animation doesn't show the bell. So it's just the guys doing like the Italian, like, hey.
Hey!
So you summon the dog
Where's
with
my
like,
phone?
hey.
Come here, puppy.
It's good stuff. The combat is so fluid, and most importantly, the ring menu is back.
Yeah.
The ring menu
It's
is
so
back.
satisfying. The combat was very goodly, like well balanced and challenging in the demo, especially when we got to this the time trial thing. And then even the boss fights had different phases that you had to change up your mechanics for.
It wasn't
just
easy
really
either, Finn. It wasn't easy.
like they
that.
they even told us, like, look, save a lot of your items and stuff, because the boss fight is a boss fight, and and it was just a well-made experience. And I was not expecting it to be as polished and as backed, let's just say, because I don't think it's unreasonable to say that Square always seems to have different tiers of the push that their games get.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
So
Oh yeah.
Visions of Mana is definitely shaping up to be
It's a AAA game, no doubt.
It's their big push for like the middle of the year.
oh, I'm so in. I'm
It's gonna
so
be like
in.
16 DLC, Dawn Trail, Visions of Mana.
I mean,
Oh,
it is. Well, and Finn, I think you'd agree with me. This is absolutely a AAA experience. They pumped money into this. Like, this is
3 Dragon Quest spinoffs were sacrificed to make this game.
Correct.
yeah.
Dragon
know.
Quest 3 HD remake died.
so this could
that
live, and I'm
Visions
fine
of
with it.
Mana I'm not. I want both. How dare
I
you?
mean,
fine with
maybe
it.
not DQ, but they did like pretty explicitly say in their earnings. I
No.
don't remember which
No,
ones
it's
it
coming.
was.
I mean,
that they were
yeah,
like
that-
killing a bunch of. They were basically getting rid of all. They were doing a lot of like little games,
Yeah,
like little
yeah.
RP. They were doing a lot of things in the same genre, but that were not landing as well as the big things in that same genre they were doing. Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah, what they
RPGs.
basically
Who
like they were like,
remembers
yeah, we're gonna
Geofield
stop doing
Chronicle,
shit
right?
like
I
right,
sure do.
That's the example I was going to use. They were like, we're going to stop doing shit like Geofield Chronicle,
Harvestella.
and Harvestella, and we're going to actually pump money
Oh,
into
man, I like
franchises that people
Harvestella.
know.
I did too.
I know,
I
you
know.
did.
Mostly.
Yeah, I know
But
you did.
but here's that's the irony, right? Like I think all of those games we just mentioned could have been smash successes had they been given the
right.
proper backing.
And
You're
not
right.
been named Dealfield
Money
Chronicle.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. What
that's
is
yes,
that
the problem.
name?
that
Like
too.
also maybe Square get someone to just approve names of your games every now and then.
Also, by
just-
the way,
Hey, what about
apropos
triangle
of nothing,
strategy?
I told Derek about this, but Geofield Chronicle has the worst fucking twist ending of any game ever made. It ruined the entire fucking game for me.
Turns out it was a
awful.
sled all along.
Yes,
Rosebud was just a
exactly.
sled.
Oh my
But
god.
no, like Reb, I'd say Finn, we spent about what, like an hour and a half with.
Ugh.
It was
the-
1 hour. 1 hour.
Why
1
was
hour?
this not at GDC? What were they? Square Enix. Where were you?
They were at PAX.
Hello.
Reb,
Yeah.
Reb, you're gonna fucking love this shit.
Plenty of people went to GDC for Monday and Tuesday, and then in an absolutely batshit move, left Wednesday night and went to PAX East for the
Yeah.
Or
weekend.
on Thursday. Yeah, I couldn't. That's
I
insane.
talked
You know why?
Complete-
You know why?
talked to a few-
It's called dedication. Reb. You should
Unhinged
try it
behavior.
sometime, okay?
I talked to a few of those
Unhinged
people.
behavior.
I talked to a few of those people, and they were like already fried. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm
45
grateful, though,
minutes
because it
after
meant
the
I
show
met
floor.
so many people who didn't have the
PAX.
defenses to tell me to fuck off. So
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was completely
I
fucking
joke. A
sublime.
lot of good
Reb.
friends. A lot of good friends.
Completely sublime.
Yeah.
Just Visions of Mana is far and away my most anticipated game this year, and it's not close.
You
It's
could
not.
even
When
you could
is it
even
coming
say it
out?
was a vision to
Summer.
behold.
It's
What?
This summer.
It truly was. I'm gonna let
Then
Finn
that
have
was
that one.
good.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. There's no like hard release date. It's just
No,
says
just
summer.
just
Just
summer.
I'd be willing to bet August probably.
My
They're
bet
not
is July or August.
No, I don't think it's July because that would put it too close to Dawn Trail, which comes out at the end of June, and I don't think they're going to do that. So I think it's
Where-
August.
well, do you remember a couple years ago they released like a bunch of games 2 weeks apart for like 2 months straight? Like, I don't
Yeah.
think they.
Yeah, but they very
always-
expressly said like, "Hey, we're not gonna, we're shying away from that." But yeah, no, that's aside from that. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm finally at chapter 12. I love this game, but there's too much fucking content. I mean, there's too much fucking.
Yeah.
There's too much.
What
There's,
game?
there's
Yeah.
too much. Like
Final
the
Fantasy
game.
Rebirth.
Yeah. Like I'm 90 hours in. I'm in chapter 12, which is the second to last chapter. And
Did you just
like,
not
I was 14
do some of the
chapters.
content?
no, dude. Like but here's the thing. Like, if you want to properly like build a relationship with some of your characters, you need to do those side quests. Which
All right,
pertain
all right.
to them.
Yeah.
And like, dude, and if you're not doing the side content, especially the combat stuff, you will get over leveled fast, and this is not an easy game. And so like I'm at 90 hours. I'm in chapter 12. From what I've heard, I've got another 10 or 15 hours of game left, and I'm like, as much as I love it, I'm ready to be fucking done. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You know, you could
Like,
just finish it. Like, you don't have to do. All
You don't
of
have to
this.
do
No, that's my
all.
plan. No, that's my plan. Without doing any side content, I've been told I have about 10 or 15 hours left, and I'm like, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
The
But,
ending
you
is
know,
rather. There's a lot happening.
I've heard it's divisive. Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about it.
No.
It's just kind of wild that like they managed to take like a 3-4 hour segment of the game and make it 100 hours.
It is
This
nuts.
is a big chunk of the original game, though.
It's maybe not 100-hour chunk.
No.
I
mean, when
think,
you
well,
talk
like,
about, like,
Midgar in the original game is like 4 hours, and they turned that into 35. I feel like disc 1 is like 20 hours. So turning 20 hours into 100 hours is conservative by comparison with what they did with Remake.
like, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but I'm also ready for it to be over now.
No, that's
So,
fair. That's fair. It's a lot.
Yeah,
No,
it's well, and
never.
like Reb, like it
Give
completely
me it all
kind of
forever.
fucks the pacing up. You know what I mean? Like you're doing side quests and getting stronger in, Gungaga region for, 8 hours, and then you go back to the main quest, like 8 hours later, and you're like, wait, what happened? Like,
Well, no
it's-
one's
I'm
making you do all the
disassociating
world
now.
intel. I just do.
Well, no, but what I'm saying
Ew.
is that if you don't do that stuff, like you will be underleveled, and this is not an easy game. That's how
I
you
don't
get.
know that that's true.
What if you just pick easy mode?
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but I'm not going to do that.
So, like,
Also, the dynamic normal
That's what I'm doing.
difficulty,
I'm doing
it
dynamic.
actually just like syncs with your level.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
it doesn't matter if you level up or not. It's always going to be consistent. So like I know some people have said that if you don't want to do the side stuff, that's actually probably the better choice, because then you're not going to ever be underleveled.
Yeah. So I don't really have room to comment because I just watched my husband play it. And like, so I paid no attention to any of the side quests. I just showed up for the interesting cutscenes. But I know he skipped like a bunch of the side quest content and didn't do it till after he'd beaten the game. And I don't know, he seemed fine.
Yeah, I for
But-
one
but he's-
simply think that forcing yourself to play all the side content that gets shoved into these sorts of games is self-harm. So don't do it. Just,
know, like,
just roll
but,
credits.
like-
It's fine.
Well, I
you
mean,
don't
some
have
of the
to do
stuff
it all.
I absolutely want to do because there's some really cool like
Platinums are
optional
bad for
fights.
you.
I mean, they are bad for you, but there's also some really cool.
Not on my
optional
watch.
fights that I'd like to do here. So, it's kind of
Yes, Big Slice Gaming, Imran is in fact goated.
But yeah, nope, that's what I got.
We got a big one that several of us have been playing. Motherfuckers, it's time to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh, hell yeah!
Now it's time for me to disassociate.
Oh my god. Guys, I
Folks,
love this game!
Capcom has been fucking cooking.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is so wonderful. I've streamed it multiple times. We got a code from Capcom, so I want to put that out there that I've been playing and streaming from a Capcom provided code. But
Yeah, I got a code too.
yeah. Well,
But
just
look
in
at your
terms of
boys
like
going to
I
play
have
Vision.
to.
Reb, look at your boys growing up, getting codes and going to
I'm
play
proud.
Visions of
I
Mana.
mean, in
Like,
terms of
we're-
I'm required to divulge that, right? Because I
I
also
paid
hate
$90 for this game,
I
so
hate
you
the
can.
I hate the like influencer industrial complex of being like hype beasts, but like at the same time, I'm famously a Dragon's Dogma sicko. It should not be a surprise
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
into this game. It's just wonderful. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like they made design decisions no one else would make because
No.
they wanted to make something weird and different and like where your decisions had to be so intentional down to like this is how I feel when I hear people talk about Death Stranding, right?
Yeah.
A game I did not land with, but like this is how I feel, right? Even the act of traversing is a series of very intentional choices. You are managing supplies. You are not, fast traveling. Get that shit out of here.
You're
Paying
deciding-
attention, opening your map constantly to see where the sun is in the sky.
Yeah.
So do I rest at this campfire that I'm at currently, or do I keep going in hopes that I run into another one before nightfall? Because at nightfall, the freaky skeletons
spooky
come out and
skeletons
kick my
come
ass. And I don't like them because I don't have any light spells equipped right now and cannot deal with them at this
Yeah.
time.
And the lantern's not enough.
No.
The design reminds me, I'm pretty far into the game now. I'm pretty close to the end, and the design, it reminds me of like, not from the combat is obviously way better, but it reminds me a lot of the things I love about Morrowind. Like a lot of the quests are extremely vague and like frustratingly so, but I still kind of appreciate what they're doing with it. Like some of them are also very complex, where there's multiple ways to solve them. There's multiple endings. There's multiple steps. But like one of my favorite quests in Morrowind is like very early on, you can get it from one of the guilds, and it's like, I need this book, go find it for me. No quest marker, could be anywhere in the world, doesn't tell you if you get it from someone, you buy it from a shop, which shop, what city, don't know. And Dragon's Dogma has like a lot of that, like,
Yeah.
if you're obsessed with completing everything and like checking all the boxes, there's a lot of missable quests, there's stuff you can get locked out from. But I think it's really cool, like the game is so wholly committed. And I know some people are like not happy with how they handle the saves, but it's basically committed to like creating a cool world with consequences and then making you think about every choice you make and having to live with those decisions and those consequences. It's
like a game that's too big to experience in one like playthrough, and so it has decided it is going to force you to not be able to see everything in one playthrough. And like the Capcom could not be more clear that like, hey, just play the game and let things happen, and what happens is your story and you'll have a good time. But if you're the kind of person who sees art as like buckets of slop that you can just like constantly throw back, and that you have to see every single piece of something immediately, like this is gonna train you out of that.
And there's like really cool systems in it because not really a spoiler, but there's basically a vendor somewhere in the game you can use to create counterfeit or duplicate items.
Shit.
And like it just, again, the complexity of the quests and the multiple ways you can solve them, you can really use this to get some interesting solutions to things. I'm not as high on like the Breath of the Wild type Zelda games as some people, but there is like a little bit of some stuff people like about that in this game as well, in terms of like the order in which you can do things and how you can approach stuff. Like I bypassed a critical part of the game going through a checkpoint into a new region, which would normally be story gated. Yeah, but I went around the back way, which I was like, why is it so fucking hard? And then
I was just like, why is this cave so long? I just wanted to I just wanted to clear it out and leave. Why is this cave so long? Oh, wait
later
a minute.
on, I was like, oh, there's a checkpoint down between them, and I could just ride carts back and forth. But it's very cool that it knows that you can break it, and it kind of wants you to break it in those ways.
I love how funny it is. I think it's a very funny game.
Yes,
it's hilarious. It hits all the high points for me. There's a lot of physical comedy that just comes from having an interesting
The
physics
falling
system
animation is
and
so good.
and letting you fuck around and find out and letting things get messy.
Or talking to an NPC in the middle of the town, and in the background there's goblins attacking like in the city or something like that.
And it's like this perfect blend of like everything works. It is a functional
Mostly.
game, but mostly it's got like that little caveat on it. So every once in a while something like doesn't quite work and it ends up just a little goofy. But it's funny and it's so fun. But then there's also just all these like very deliberately hilarious choices. One of my absolutely favorite things is when you camp. if you have meat in your inventory, you will see like a little pan and a slab of meat against your cooking fire, and you can go up to it and you can cook to get stat boosts. And every time you do this, it plays a straight up FMV of the most delicious steak you've ever seen,
A dude
getting
with a
cooked
camera.
over an
Yeah,
open
film.
fire. There's like an interview where they ask them why, and they're like, "Well, we wanted to make a really good cutscene, and we thought we could either if we're going to spend a huge budget on graphics to make this cutscene really nice, we may as well spend that budget on really good meat and then eat it."
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
And I've
The
seen
other
people
thing
all
was-
stuff like that.
I've seen people call the meat, the filming, the live action meat lazy. I want to make it abundantly clear, as somebody who both cooks and films, it is hard
Yeah.
to nail that.
Yeah.
That was gorgeous work. That is cinema
It's
right
such a
there.
good scene. I'll give it back to you, Jeff. But like there's so many just little things like that in this game that are hilarious. There's items that feel like a joke. There's item descriptions that feel like a joke. I guess this is not really a spoiler. There's a very rare and difficult to get item in this game that is basically an insta kill on literally any enemy you
The
want.
unmaking arrow.
But it saves immediately after you do it, so you better be really fucking sure you want to do this. And then the writing is just absurd. It's like this high fantasy. Everybody says "ought" all the time, like, "Oh, is there aught we can do here?"
The only person
They
who
found
might
a couple
get this,
favorite words, and they use those a lot.
the only person
Constantly.
who might get this, John, is everyone in the game talks like Urianger from.
Okay, I
14.
actually completely understand what you're saying. So.
I keep hoping someone will understand what I mean when I say this, and so far no one has. But it reads to me like Daniel Lavery from The Toast is making fun of something, because all the pawns are constantly going, "Oh, Arisen! Oh, you're so wonderful, Arisen! Oh my goodness, it's the Arisen!" They're all doing this. It feels like a Daniel Lavery bit,
Yes.
but it cracks me up every time.
My favorite is when I like go into a shop and back out and decide not to buy anything. The pawns will just be like, "The Arisen is ever prudent with the application of
Yeah,
pawn."
it's a stupid line. And the whole pawn system is genius too. I don't even know if we want to extrapolate into
incredible.
that. But yeah, Jeff, you were saying something like 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry. I
Oh
love
no,
this
it's
game.
fine. Like I want to hear everyone's thoughts on it. Yeah, the pawn system's great. Like I'm playing with my buddy's pawn. I haven't gone and summoned Derek's yet. I need to do that. But it's
Are
cool.
y'all on?
Like,
what are you playing on? What system?
I'm playing,
I'm playing on
PC.
PC. On like a
Ugh,
pretty beefy
whatever.
PC. So like most of the performance stuff hasn't been an issue. But the pawn system is it's great. Like I feel like I'm playing with my buddy in the game, even though it's like single player. And I just love, like you said, the little things. I love these like, and I think Derek brought up Death Stranding before, and like I like the kind of quasi asynchronous type multiplayer stuff, right? Where it's like, oh, my friend has done this quest, so their pawn did the quest with them. They remember where this treasure chest is, so they remember where to go. And it's just very cool. Sometimes it's a little overbearing where I'm like, I just try to do my own thing, like, here, over here, come follow me. I'm like, okay, just fucking chill for a minute. But it's really unique and really charming, and like I thought I would get tired of the banter, but I don't really. It's,
No.
like Reb said, it's just very funny. And then back to like the game design stuff. The other thing it reminds me of is kind of like when you're, I guess part of it was like before the internet, but also just when games were like a bit more obtuse. It reminds me like when you'd hear from someone like, oh, if you go to this town and talk to this person in this order and do this thing, then this thing can happen. Which like things in games are usually a lot more straightforward now, and this has a lot of those like you like 5% of the people will never ever see a certain outcome, but it's like in there and there's a way to do it. It's a very, very interesting and weird game. I love it so much.
I deeply love how, on the one hand, I would describe Dragon's Dogma 2 as very like anti-video game in a lot of ways.
Player adversarial
Yes,
is the phrase.
in
I'm
an
hearing a lot.
artistic sense, right? Like it is a game that wants to hide things from you. It wants you to commit to bad outcomes. It is not here to be a sense of like wish fulfillment power fantasy.
No.
It's here to be a weird fantasy world that you have to interact with on its dangerous terms. And sometimes it's not going to be the thing that you want. I love how one of the most powerful early game pieces of leg equipment you can get is basically a pair of mantees and some knee-high boots. Which is great because it meant I was running around playing peekabooty with my screen while streaming. It was great. It's very funny. But like, on the other hand, it is one of the most video games I've ever played in the ways that it is willing to be a little bit janky and willing to let you break it And when you do so, like the game embraces that. Like it's here to have fun. When the set falls apart, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really respect that it is. This is one of the things I've been loving about recent Capcom, and it is something that in more recent years I've gotten better at putting into words. But Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game that comes about only because a publisher trusted the artists working on the game to make their art rather than focus test it into oblivion.
Yes.
And we are, whether you really like Dragon's Dogma 2 or not, the industry is richer, the art scene is richer for a game like this getting to exist. And I could not be happier that so many people are trying it out and going, what the hell did I land in?
Yeah. I wish it got like a little bit more polished, but like you said, Eric, it would have been very easy to be like, okay, we're gonna bring back Dragon's Dogma, but we're gonna chase a couple of these trends. We're gonna make this more mainstream appeal. And they were like, no, we're gonna make the exact same fucking game. You guys wanted it. Here it is.
And, you know, give it a couple of patches. Who knows where the performance might go? We already know that this first patch is going to do a lot for performance. And like, look, that's an anchor around its neck, right? And sadly, that's all too common with video games these days. It's not a Dragon's Dogma problem. It's a video game problem. But like, if we're allowed to finally embrace Cyberpunk years later because the game finally works at all, like, we can wait for by the way, also, Dragon's Dogma 2 is not deeply transphobic and racist like Cyberpunk is, so so like
fine.
we can wait for a performance patch. It's fine. But if you're really sensitive to that stuff, it's okay. Don't let FOMO hit you. You can wait a month or two. It's fine. Yeah, God, Dragon's Dogma was so good.
It's really fucking good.
Monster Hunter's gonna be fucking weird, y'all.
I need this game. I love that this game is bullshit. It's total bullshit at all times. I'm constantly yelling at it. I'm yelling at my pawns. I'm like, it's great. I love it. I can't wait to see what's next.
Can you play without pawns?
No, you need a party of pawns.
I think you can play with just your
you
pawn.
theoretically kill all
Technically
your
can.
pawns and not summon any, but
Yeah.
it's a bad move. Don't do it.
It's not smart.
There is no class in the game that is prepared to solo. You need like a spread. You need.
Why don't you like them?
I don't know. Like, there's something about that solitary experience that you get like in Elden Ring or like Bloodborne or Dark Souls that I really
That's
like.
not the point of this
It's
game.
explicitly
Different
the
game.
opposite.
John
Yeah.
wants
But
the vibe of being alone and miserable in a horrible world.
But it isn't. It isn't,
Yeah.
right? Because like, I mean, we should probably move on at some point. But like the philosophy of this game, like the pawn system, like philosophically in the world of Dragon's Dogma is deeply fucked. Like
Yeah.
it's
But John, like,
It's
it's
extremely
completely
narratively tied.
fucked that there
John,
is
think
this.
of it like a Final Fantasy. Think of it like managing your party in a JRPG, right? Like, there's different enemy types, and like you have to pick a class for your character, and you cannot hit all the weaknesses. You can't hit all the different types. Like, there's flying enemies, but if you're a knight stuck on the ground, you have no way to bring those birds down. You need an archer in your class to like, and you can switch them up. But that's kind of the dynamic there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But where I was going with that is like the pawn system. The pawns are like this community of people who are
Like
like
unpersoned.
they're people, like they're humans and or beastren, depending on what you pick. There's basically two races, and they have all of the features and the abilities of people, but their literal sole focus in life is serving the Arisen and killing the dragon. Like, that's literally it. That's all they live for, and they will just fawn over you, and they will do everything for you. They will die for you, like whatever you ask, and like that's just this universe. That's just how it works, and no one questions it. And it's like meant to be deeply fucked. It's very
they're
weird. And so you cost
parasocial Twitter followers.
I
maybe
will
not
say
quite like
that
that.
they do not come across as a wish fulfillment fantasy. Like, hearing
No.
the pawns call you
Yeah.
master and all this stuff is
It's
like
weird.
It doesn't feel like, yeah, this is cool. It's like, hey man, I've got weird soulless slaves that do my bidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this
Worship
weird
me.
like dynamic with them where like you want, like, look, okay, I got this pawn, and there's a system where you
Oh, did you get Dr.
pawn.
Phil too?
No, you get pawns from other people to fill out your party, and you send your pawn out into the rift, and your pawn stays in your party, but your pawn is also out in the rift at all times, basically like working with other people. And
Okay.
whenever you sleep in an inn, you get a message like where your pawn comes back the next morning, and they're like, "Hey, this is what I did," and they tell you like about their adventures with other people. And this guy, like, or my pawn went off with like somebody, and they came back, and they were like, "Hey, I had a really weird time with this person. They were really cruel to me." And you get like this weird moment of like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? What did this person do to my pawn?
Are you
Like, what the
fucking with my
hell?
pawns?
Why
Like,
would you mess with my pawn? How dare you? But there's also like this weird dynamic of like, even in my game, even if I'm trying to be nice to pawns, you know, some of them still die for me. Like not on purpose, but sometimes they fall into the ocean and die. Sometimes horrible things happen to them, and there's nothing I can do. But it's because they have this drive to protect me. And so what I'm saying is this is not a solitary adventure because it's not intended to be one, but your relationship with your party members is very unique and weird and unsettling deliberately in a way that like I guess makes you think about these things. And it does feel in some ways like a very solitary adventure because you are the only person in your party who is like a person.
Mhm.
And it's very weird and complicated to like think through that.
I think I'm still going to probably pass on this one.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
you'd like
fine.
it.
This
Yeah.
is not a John Core game.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. But that being said, I am really glad that all you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
My God.
Like you know, like people say that 2023 was a really good year for games. I think 2024 is going to be a good year for games too. Like we've already got a couple bangers. We got like, you know, Yakuza and Rebirth and, you know, Dragon's Dogma and, you know, like Visions of Mana shaping up great. Like I think it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year for games all
Yeah.
around.
I do real quick want to check in with Bustin because Bustin was not playing Rebirth or Dragon's Dogma.
Ooh.
So what you been
Well,
playing?
I actually haven't really played all that much since I got back from PAX.
That's fair.
I've been
Fake
back to
gamer
work
alert.
and working extra hours to make up for being off for a little bit. I finished Rebirth right before we went to PAX. I've just kind of been dabbling in Destiny. I'm just looking forward to the update that's coming in a couple weeks because they're doing a free kind of like mini season thing because Final Shape got delayed, and it seems fun. I'm looking forward to the stuff that they're doing for that. So
Yeah. Well, that makes this a good transition to get into some of the fun stuff we saw at PAX and GDC.
Dang, no
Good
one asked me what I've
transition,
been
bro.
playing.
Finn,
Sick
what have you been playing
transition.
other than
Wow.
Rebirth and Visions of Mana?
Wow.
Finn, what you been playing?
Pepper Grinder. Pepper Grinder is a Devolver Digital game.
Okay,
It's-
I was just sitting here like,
What?
He's sitting in the kitchen.
You know what?
with Pepper grinder.
If you don't know, go look it up. It's gonna be
I'm looking it up
easily one of my top 10 games of this year. It's perfection in small action, bite-sized little portions. It's so good.
okay,
this looks
googling
so
Pepper
cute.
Grinder is not helpful.
yeah,
Just type in Pepper Grinder game, and I'm
This
pretty
is
sure that
really
might narrow
cute.
it down.
I like it.
It controls like a damn dream.
Is she cute?
I'm
She
just
got a
saying.
little drill.
So
They're-
good.
They're weird.
It's
funny
like what
enemies.
would happen if like Mr. Driller or something
Yeah, it's
would
like
put
if
it
Drill
like
Dozer was like
a hardcore
super
like
soaked up.
action platformy type of game. It's so good. And like the physics mechanics of drilling down and then popping up and launching yourself up into little arcs and stuff to get to the next area. Oh, so good. Game's so good.
It's a buddy. Yeah.
Pepper Grinder fam.
Hell yeah.
It's like the perfect palate cleanser for these huge like RPG like bursts I do, and then it's like, hey, you know what? Let's
some
wind
Pepper
down with
Grinder.
something that's not a giant 100+ hour RPG.
Boy, what's that
Play
like?
some
I mean, I don't know,
Pepper
because
Grinder.
going from going like Infinite Wealth to Final
Mhm.
Fantasy, knowing
Looks
that
like
I've
all.
got even more coming out. Like RPG fans are eating good, but there's always room for me for games like this. And Pepper Grinder it has that dog in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah.
done.
I wish CJ was here to hear you butcher that phrase.
He would say, "Wow, my fellow Gen Z, you
is
crushed
that
it."
what he would do? Is that
He
what
would,
he would do?
because as he said multiple times, we are the only two Gen Zs on the show. So
He's always saying this. Yes.
he's well
famously,
known for saying
you know, John, I'm not surprised you don't remember. You seem to have a rash of forgetting things that happen frequently. So
this. Yeah, I mean
You know?
that's what happens when you day drink as much as I do. So
I was gonna say that
Stop being
advanced age,
funny.
but
John doesn't day drink.
I don't day drink, although sometimes I fucking wish I could. So let's go ahead and
John, I
jump
just
into
noticed you're
PAX.
wearing the blood pillow hat. We
What
do
does
need to
that
tell that
mean?
story very briefly.
Oh, yeah. So at the hotel, which was not a murder hotel this
No,
time.
we had a decent hotel.
It was actually
Yeah, it was a
pretty decent
Hampton.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Hampton Inn. We were like what 7 minutes walking distance from the convention center.
Something like that.
Not bad at all. But no, basically, like the back of my head is brown, and I fell asleep with my hat on. And I woke up and like a bunch of the brown had like rubbed off on the pillow. We all thought it was like a blood-stained pillow. We were like, "What the fuck?"
John was getting
And-
like a shower or something after I got in because I got in last, and I looked at the
Yeah.
pillow he'd been laying on, and it had this brownish red streak.
Rusty
Oh, I
looking.
see.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that looked like old blood stain on a pillow, and everybody was like in detective mode over what was going on with this pillowcase.
I see.
So we
And
turned it, in, everything was fine.
my hat rubbing off.
But
on
then,
it,
yeah, we caught John napping with his hat on a second time, and it was the back headband of his hat leaving red.
Which is
streaks.
weird because it doesn't leave anything on my skin. It's very fucking strange.
Yeah,
Very strange.
it's almost like skin is a different material from pillowcases.
Yeah, sort of.
The way John uses them.
We won't even go into that. Some things are better left unsaid. No, we had a really good time at PAX. This was the first time in 4 years that
I got
the entire
multiple
group was back
platonic
at con.
cheek kisses from friends.
You
And
did.
if you know
Oh.
anything about me, you know a platonic
You
cheek
did.
kiss, I'll kill for you.
I literally played security for a very good friend of mine who is a voice actor in a very, 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 very popular and very high selling game. It was her first time at a PAX, and that was fun. That was a really good time. We got to hang out with a lot of people that we have not seen in literal years. All in all, like I had a great fucking PAX. I had a really good. I had a really
some
good
sick
fucking
ass
time.
indie games.
We saw some good indie games. We did a fucking metric shit ton of interviews.
Finn interviewed Suda51.
Finn
Yeah,
interviewed
it was
Suda
dope.
one.
Oh.
gave him
Fucking
a sake. It was dope.
Finn
Aw. Did he
and
like it?
Derek were really crushing those interviews. Justin crushed his own fucking interview. Justin, you're fucking amazing on
We
camera.
got Dave
dude.
Oshry to
Pollinators.
threaten random passersby who got
Yeah.
caught on
Good.
camera.
Oh, that just
We
sounds
did.
about right, though.
Yeah.
And
great.
I was also I'll say now consulting with the Take This folks on security since they had been receiving some pretty hardcore threats. So I was
I
consulting.
also
with,
did some new stuff with Take This year.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was a
you
good
I
helped
was-
them set up and organize a lot of the
Yeah, they moved me up to coordinator. I'm like, I
Ooh.
helped.
sick.
I was coordinator of the Hope booth this year.
yeah, so
was
it
cool.
yeah, so we had a presence with the pack folks, with the PAX folks, with the Take This folks as well. So I mean, obviously nothing happened and nobody really thought it would, but a lot of people were nervous, so
Yeah, the vibes are weird right now.
Yeah.
Peace of
Yeah,
mind is,
fucking
is
super
more
gauzy.
important.
But I do want to say on that note, I really appreciated that at every entrance of PAX, they had this is our statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it was like a big multi-paragraph thing saying
good.
that absolutely everybody is welcome here. That is a foundational element of PAX.
was good to
If you
see.
do not uphold that, you are not welcome. Everybody else is welcome. Every single bathroom had, trans flag and said you use what bathroom matches your gender identity. And they also had even like art. They had like some boards where people drew artwork of various non-standard gender conforming characters from games and stuff. Say use whatever bathroom you want. Like I was very, very glad that PAX. I mean, I think they usually have that stuff up, but it meant
it was
a lot
it was more
right
prominent
now
here.
this year to see that they made sure that stuff was in everybody's line of sight as soon as
Yeah.
they came into the building.
For sure.
So who wants to talk about their PAX experience?
Justin, why don't you go? Because you were high on Fallen Aces.
Yeah, so Fallen Aces is published by New Blood, who has done several retro first-person shooters. Dusk is probably the most prominent one. There's also Ultra Kill. They're working on a few other projects. cool guys. And they were showing off Fallen Aces at the show, which is an extremely cool.
Reb was like, "Fuck you
This
guys,
game.
this game sucks."
Reb clicked the wrong button.
I was
So-
trying to make Justin's window bigger, and instead I closed the call.
We were like,
did
Reb
the
was like,
literal
fuck this
opposite.
game.
How do I
The
make
opposite.
Justin bigger? Oh, like that. You click on
Yeah,
his
you just
face.
click on Justin, yeah.
So yeah, they're showing
continue.
up
Fallen
off
Aces.
Fallen Aces. And that was my favorite game of PAX. It was the first thing I played. I got to talk to. I have an interview up with the director, which is really cool. Who, by the way, everybody at that booth was dressed appropriately. The game is like 30s, 40s gangster themed.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they were all dressed up as goons and mooks, and the director was there, full pinstripe suit and fedora and
That was
everything,
fun.
which he wore for the entirety of PAX. By the
good.
way,
Whoa, that's rough,
Um,
man.
they were so they were there having a good time. They were doing the voices and everything, talking to everybody. And the game's super cool. So it's like it is a retro throwback, first person game, but it's a bit different than some of the other ones. It's not like typical like boomer shooter kind of style. It's more of an immersive sim. It's kind of more along the lines of like Deus Ex and stuff, with a lot of melee combat in it. So, you when you punch a guy, he freezes with his teeth out, and then you can send him flying like Popeye style with a big wind up.
That's exactly what happens whenever I punch a guy.
And then if somebody's down on the ground, you can pick them up and then throw them at the other guys. And then there's tons of like random things that you can throw around and interact with in the environment. A lot of options, for stealth and
It's very Looney
secrets and
Tunes
stuff.
in a lot of ways.
It's great because it feels like pretty authentic and fun, like hard-boiled noir stuff, as well as being very silly at the same time. And I had a blast with it. The art style is fantastic too. It's like a comic booky look to it. It's not typical for some of these. It's not like the typical like pixelated look of some of the throwback FPSs. It's really cool. It was really unique. It's because it's just I haven't really seen that kind of combination of genre with the setting and the art style and stuff, and it blends together so well. And you can tell like they have a deep love for both the genre and the types of games that this was influenced by. It's a super, super cool game. And it really stood out for me on the show floor. I had a blast playing it. Episode 1 is going to be launching in early access. They're aiming to get it out late this spring. There's going to be 3 episodes in total. Definitely keep that one on your radar because it's a really cool game.
Sounds really good.
I could go next because I have a pretty clear
dude,
like
fuck
one of
it,
my
Derek.
favorite
Go
things
next.
I saw in line. I really fell in love with this game called Farah, the Sundered Tribes, I think is the subtitle. It's Massive Damage. So it's the studio that did Star Renegades, right, Finn?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is what I played is just like a pre-alpha build that they had out, and it's only like really good for playing with physics in a lot of ways. But so it's this like big kind of open world. It's clearly pulling a lot of inspiration from games like the newer Zeldas. It's pulling a lot of inspiration from Monster Hunter. There's like city building mechanics because a lot of what you're doing is trying to like build up the core city in the final game. So you're going out and you're, gathering resources and fighting big monsters and getting materials so that you can build up the city. It is a great, weird little grappling hook mechanic that's kind of janky and very fun to play with. It is a great hang glider mechanic that you can actually very like catch a wind draft and like go down to pick up speed and swoosh around. And you can combine that and the grappling hook to great, silly, janky physics effect. So it's very fun swooping all around the environment. It's just very cool and very nifty, and it's a small studio aiming way above their normal weight class. And I respect and appreciate that. And you know, I mean, like I said, pre-alpha, so like the enemy I fought was, to me, very easy, and it was like kind of a little janky with the combat system yet, but like this isn't going to be a game I play because the combat system's good. I kind of like city building elements in games. I like when you have like a base or a town that you have to build back up. And it's just fun. It's fun to grapple hook and glide all over the place. You know, that's how you make me like a big open world game, is if you make traversing it fun and a little silly. Just a little silly.
They could have gone with just the grapple hook or the flight suit, but they decided to combine the
both.
two.
Derek, you don't like your fucking open world traversal to be tedious and cumbersome?
I do in Dragon's
fucking
Dogma
gamer
for
are
no
you?
reason. But that might have to do with me being, I don't know.
I actually didn't play too much at PAX aside from Visions of Mana.
I don't
simply
think
because I was.
Did you even go down on the floor?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. I just didn't really have much time to play anything because I was doing other stuff. I was gonna say Jeff, but I just realized you weren't at PAX, and that makes me sad.
I do
was
want
not
to
at
say
PAX or GDC.
I missed you.
I
missed
do
you.
want to say one thing about PAX this year. There wasn't as much to play as there usually is.
Yeah,
The
like,
GDC.
The overlap with GDC, I think, hurt it a lot. And a lot of developers, due to the sheer number of layoffs as well as smaller teams looking for funding, really did have to prioritize getting to GDC. Thankfully, they've already announced that next year it's going to be in May, so that will not be an issue next year, which will be great. There was a couple booths though that I just want to mention because there specifically there's a booth for the Dune like survival game coming up.
I saw that.
And I went there. I'm like, you know what? I like Dune. I'm not big on survival games, but
Check it out.
I'll
Let's go look at Dune.
check this out. I'll go check this out. There
Then
wasn't
they
a game
slapped him in the
booth.
face. Oh,
It
never
was
mind.
just a TV showing the trailer that came out a couple weeks ago, and you could pose in front of a green screen with a prop knife from the movie.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. You couldn't play it?
No, there was no game at that booth.
That's fucking weird.
Did they not at least have something you could stick your hand into, like a Gomja bar or a popcorn bucket?
wow,
Because I feel like that's the whole theme of the Dune series at this point.
I didn't know where that one was going for a minute.
They had a replica Chris knife that you could pose with in front of a green screen. And I think they had a giveaway for one. And that was it.
Justin.
So and there was a handful of booths like that this year that was just like
Justin.
just didn't have games at them,
Yeah.
even though they looked like they were
Can
going
we
to be.
talk about the
Really
Saudis?
So
yeah, that was that.
yeah, that's where I'm
What
going.
a sentence! Please continue.
Can we please talk about Qiddiya Gaming?
We're going to talk about
I need
Qiddiya
to-
Gaming for a
I need
brief
to talk about
moment.
So Reb, there is this booth, and it has more floor space than any other.
Easily
Reb,
the biggest
It was
thing.
the biggest.
Reb,
booth.
Reb, your journalist mind would have eaten this shit up. So it's a Saudi it's a thing started by a Saudi investment firm, and it's called Qiddiya Gaming. There was fucking nothing there.
They were not
only-
advertising any games or any
Is
Is this a
Anyway,
shell company?
But not only that, check this shit out, Reb. My friend Steve Machuga from Stack Up went up and was like, he was videotaping the show floor. He's just recording the show floor, and somebody from Qiddiya Gaming came over and said, "All of this is off the record. Please stop your recording." And he's like, "What?" He was like, "I'm not even recording." He was like, "I'm just recording the floor." He's like, "You can't tell me not to record." And they were like, "Sir, turn your recording off." And he was like, it was really weird and threatening. And Reb, there was no games there.
Yeah,
There was no games there.
That
Zero
booth
games.
was bizarre too, because it
It's
just
very expensive looking too.
they had these like really expensive looking.
Props.
I mean, they were big like standee things,
portals.
but they were made to look like portals to like different types of like fantasy settings and stuff. And then there was a screen that was talking about building the future of gaming.
Building
and
the
then
future of gaming.
I don't
different-
know if you guys have seen Parks and
like,
Rec. You just sound like you're describing Entertainment 420.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, no, Reb.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. There was nothing there.
Other exhibitors, Reb, walked up to me because we were me and somebody else were talking very openly about like, what the fuck is this? And two exhibitors from a nearby booth came up and said, everybody's fucking pissed. everybody's pissed because they're taking up so much fucking floor space. They're not doing anything, and they're being complete shits to all the other exhibitors. This sucks.
Yeah, and
Let's be fair.
was-
There was floor space to spare. So
yeah,
There
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
because I went over, like, I was talking to some people, and like some of the places that I usually check out and spend the most time, at PAX are the Indie Mega booth,
Love that
Devolver's
place.
booth, Annapurna's booth. None of them were there. PlayStation and Xbox also not there. Nintendo's booth was a Pokemon demo for games that came out 6 months ago. And some places to play the trading card game. That's a whole lot of places.
It was
that
a
usually
very
show a bunch of games.
Reb,
at PAX
it was
that
a
were not
very
there.
bizarre show floor. What with like all the floor space and Kidia fucking gaming doing whatever they're yelling at people to stop recording them. Like it was just a bizarre floor this year. Just
There was
bizarre.
also a lot of there was also just a lot more like merch sellers and stuff and like gaming related.
So I'm
Lot
just
more
going to
tape
jump
on top.
in. I'm
Yes.
just going to jump in as someone that has gone the past 4 years that you guys are a little off base. There wasn't more merch people than before. It is true that there was less rows of games, but that's again the GDC thing. We haven't had really
Yeah, nobody's saying
significant
PAX is in
investment
trouble.
from.
We're just
No,
saying that they need-
no, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying I don't want you're painting like some bleak picture for, and I'm just letting you know that it's just it wasn't it hasn't really been what you were describing. It wasn't in a while.
It doesn't
Yeah.
seem like from my observation, having not been there, but from hearing from a lot of other people who have been, it seems to me like PAX East at least has struggled a little bit to recover post-pandemic fully to like
Kinda
its
seems
former
like it.
2019 glory.
It's,
It's gotten there a lot better than it was obviously in 2020, whatever year they did
I
it after.
also think that next year is going to be a huge upswing for it because I found out that
Absolutely.
the reason a lot of the major publishers skip East is because it comes right before the end of their fiscal year. And the
that makes sense.
expenditure of going cross country, not probably the greatest look on the books. Whereas West, they're already based there, so it's a lot
Yes.
cheaper to set up. It being in May next year, not even counting the GDC overlap, I think a lot more companies will roll up.
I think because I was also going to talk about that, but I also think it's just better timing for like when a lot of companies are rolling out like their PR plans and stuff. Like it's better placed for, hey, we've got stuff to show, more so than it is in March.
I got a question. I don't know who's best to answer. I'm just curious because like I don't have the experience with like the conventions a lot of you guys do and the trade, the industry aspect of it. But I'm curious because like obviously we know what happened to E3, right? And like I'm just
Yes,
curious,
we do.
is as PAX bounces back, like I'm wondering what's in it, like what especially like the big publishers get out of it. I'm wondering if it's more. It seems from what I've seen in the one I went to, like very good for small indie devs. In terms of like
It's
exposure
always
and
kinda-
networking, but like I like are the big ones good? Do they feel like they need to be back there in the same way they were pre-pandemic?
I don't think so, but like some of the like bigger like collectives of indies coming back, I think would have gone a long way for me.
Well, yeah,
I-
because
yeah.
the like again, GDC was the reason that Devolver wasn't there. The reason that like
Yeah.
Brace Yourself Games, the reason Yacht Club, the reason like
Devolver would be that's a huge.
I mean, Devolver's
omission,
always a
right?
massive booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is like the first time they haven't done it, and it's because of GDC. It is what it is.
Yeah, and like, look, let's be clear. Next year they're doing it in May, so like, it's out of
It'll-
that weird
once
time
you
period. It's
deconflict-
not going to
yeah.
cross over with GDC. I'm going to Boston when it's not piss ass cold, which is great. Yeah. Finn, buddy, I know I like tagged along with you a lot of the show, but like, I wanna know what some of your favorite little games of the floor were.
So
I
I'll
just
just be
want-
quick
I
and talk
like-
about the last. What, John?
I was just to say, let's not spend too much time on it because we have not managed our time poorly
We'll be good.
tonight.
We got this.
and-
We got this.
Okay.
It's true. Why talk at the games at PAX when we could keep talking about the stuff on the floor? That's silly talk.
Well, no, I just want to get
So
the red
I'm
talk.
going to talk two games real quick because they were probably my favorite two on the floor, and I would just like to put them on people's radars. The first would be Lucid, which if you've
Yes.
seen anything online, it's already like probably the de facto game of the show for most
Yeah,
outlets.
people are
Um,
pumped for this vid.
It's because it's damn good. It's what if you take it's a Celestvania, so a Metroidvania style game with Mega Man style combat and like just mechanics, but with the Celeste style movement economy where every jump gets reset when you touch a wall or something like that, and
Ooh.
so you can chain together your movement and go across entire swaths of the game if you're good enough. It's freaking incredible. The other one I want to talk about because I didn't discover it until like the last day on Sunday morning was Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, which silly name, but if you look it up, it's basically it's right up there with Mina the Hollower as a love letter and revival of the Link's Awakening Game Boy Advance era style of games. The fact that we're getting both of those almost like side by side, it's very like
Oh, this is cute.
oh, it's damn good. It's got an open world type area. It takes place in like an urban sprawl city, but the gameplay is pure just Link's Awakening inspired Game Boy Advance style things with a yo-yo that you can bank off any surface with a slant. So you can create these like arcing attacks, and it's used in puzzles as well. The demo is phenomenal. The music incredible. Those two games probably easily my two favorites of PAX. Shout out to My Familiar as number 3 is this amazing
That was super like that's so much character.
Super Mario
in that.
RPG inspired. Like the way Sea of Stars wore its influences on its sleeve, My Familiar does the same, and it was also just another lovely delight. So those are the quick games I wanted to chat.
It's like,
No,
what if somebody who's obsessed with the like 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yes,
made a Super
100%.
Mario RPG? It's so it's so wonderful. It's
like Ninja Turtles 80s cartoon meets Garbage Pail Kids.
It's kind of lovely. Reb, I want to know what some of your like shining examples of some of the stuff you saw at GDC was.
All right, I'm going to do a rapid fire round here.
Yeah.
Because I have a really long list, but if I talk in depth about all of them, we're going to be here all night. So first off, Animal Well, go listen to this week's episode of Nintendo Voice Chat to hear me gush about that game with Seth Macy. Animal Well freaking rules.
Animal Well's great.
If you like platforming, weird, esoteric, ARG-like puzzles, Animal Well. On Your Tail, visual novel game, played it at a Nintendo indie demo kind of thing. I thought that I wouldn't like that because I feel like neutral about furries. I don't have like a strong feeling about anthropomorphic animals doing things. Actually, quite an interesting little like life sim versus investigation game. Check that one out. On Your Tail looks like it might be pretty good. Kind Words 2. I really loved the first Kind Words. It's basically a game where you sit down and send nice messages to people.
Yeah.
It's a game that absolutely deserved a sequel, and under no circumstances, given the way the industry is, should have got one, and yet it did. Kind Words 2. I played that at Day of the Devs. It was fantastic. It's basically Kind Words, but with more ways to say nice things. I really enjoyed it. Check out Kind Words. Sopa, I am super duper into. It is about this little boy living in it's a Colombian developer. So this little boy living in Colombia goes to visit his grandma. She's making soup. She asks him to go get some potatoes from the closet. He goes into the closet or the pantry and ends up like Narniaing into this like wild, weird like adventure. And it's this really sweet like coming of age story with interesting, goofy cartoon characters and puzzles. And I really freaking love Sopa. I'm so excited that that's getting closer to release. Inconveni, I played, is a sim game about working at a convenience store and organizing items on shelves. Delightful, very relaxing. Love to turn things around to all face the right way. Death of a Wish, action top-down game, slashy sorty kind of thing with a weird, like, a really good art style that's like very sketchy in a deliberate way that looks very nice. I think it's a game maybe about like coming out and then like your very Christian family is unhappy about it, but also they're like literally Satan in some ways. So you're fighting demons. I don't really know, but it's got like some overtones of all that. So I'm kind of curious where that's going to go, but the combat feels really good. Isles of Sea and Sky, top down, Sokoban, move boxes around, very Link to the Past-esque. It feels really, really nice. I like that game a lot. There was a game called Horses that was the most disturbing thing I've seen in my life. I'm
Just
giving
horses?
you.
Horses are terrible. So
It's called
yes.
Horses. The only context I'm going to give you is you play as a young lad who is off to work at a farm for the summer. It's very much like a silent film, and that people will move their mouths and say nothing, and then you'll get like the text in big letters on the screen. It's just a backing track. Deeply disturbing game, very upsetting. I don't know how I feel about it genuinely, but if you like horror games, maybe see what Horses is all about.
Horses.
And then the final thing I wanted to talk about is Dark Web Streamer, which is, I am super stoked for Dark Web Streamer. It's a visual novel game where you basically play as a streamer who is streaming on this like horrible hell internet. And you have to kind of manage like your stamina bars and stuff because streaming takes a lot of energy. But the whole thing that you're streaming is you have all of these cursed objects that you're like showing off for the camera and doing weird things with. And obviously because you have a bunch of cursed shit, cursed things happen to you. And so you're kind of dealing with like trying to make sure you always have things to stream with, trying to make money, and dealing with the horrors that pop out of your computer.
The
or
key
Reb,
art
is this
for that game is terrible.
Reb, is this about me showing off all my Final Fantasy merch?
It's more cursed than that, John, somehow.
Okay.
The key art for this game looks terrifying.
It's great. It's great. It actually, I've talked to the creator of that game, and like, look, I'm pretty anti-generative AI, but this is an individual creator who basically made her own little like AI and trained it on her own shit to basically generate horrible things for her own game. And in that sense, where she's using like AI itself as a kind of art form in and of itself, I kind of dig it. And she's basically using it to make this generated internet where, because you could like browse the internet and it'll make like new little pages for you, and show you like all these like weird items and weird things and stuff. It's very weird and very cool and very unsettling, and I'm super into what it's doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That does sound cool.
I'm sure I probably forgot some.
Animal
please
Well.
Keep an eye on IGN.com because I'm going to do a roundup of all the cool shit that I played.
Oh, that's
And I'll
Reb, you're
talk
like
about it more in depth.
I like
you're
that
like an
John,
IGN journalist or
Did
something.
you forget that I work there?
I like that
Yeah.
John was over there and just had to Google horses.
Horses.
I got
did the
lots of
same
pictures
thing.
of
It
very
wasn't helpful.
pretty horses.
To
Very
everyone in
pretty.
chat, I'm trying to pet the cat. The thing is, she
I
wants to be
love the
pet, but
noises.
she doesn't want to be pet.
I love the noises she's making. It's perfect. It's good.
It's both. She wants to be pet, but she doesn't want to be pet.
Yeah, that's cats.
All
Yeah.
right,
I know how cats work.
Reb
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of
Speaking
IGN,
of IGN.
Yeah.
I want to talk about unions, Reb. Do you want to talk about
yeah.
unions?
I freaking love a good union.
Let's
oh man,
fucking talk
yeah.
about some unions.
Yeah, so we originally set
Yeah,
up.
because we haven't talked about her wedding yet. So
No, we originally set this up because like a month ago, because we had announced that the workers of IGN, the creative workers of IGN, had unionized as the IGN Creators Guild, and I was going to come on and talk about that, and then we all got sidetracked. Yes, I get it, Finn. And now I'm here quite a bit later, and you know we've gotten our voluntary recognition, and we're a real live legal union, recognized by the National Labor Relations Board with all the protections that affords. I love my union.
yeah. So God, what was it like even getting like, if you? I mean, obviously, like, there's only so much you can talk about.
Sure.
But like, getting the ball rolling on a union is one of the scariest things you can do in a workplace in America,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's getting, I think in some field, like certainly in games, it's getting a little easier to talk about, I think, and in media, it's getting a little easier to talk about. And I think we also had the advantage of, because IGN is not just a game site, it's a games and entertainment and tech site. And entertainment specifically, there's a lot of like really positive unionization conversations going on over there. Like especially, we saw the SAG and WGA strikes last year. And so a lot more people are kind of aware of what unions are and what they're about. And so that the fact that we cover entertainment had sort of exposed a lot more of our coworkers to sort of what was even going on with that. But we started quite a bit earlier. Like it is really scary. And like the initiation of starting a union is usually just like 2 or 3 people getting together, like after work or whatever. And someone casually saying, hey, yeah, like, maybe there's something about my job I don't like, or maybe there's something about my job that I really do like, but I'm worried about it being taken away at any second. Do we think maybe a union might be helpful? And, we're all kind of like, I don't know. And then, you just start information gathering. And then as you start gathering information, you eventually, start talking to different unions who you might be able to work with to make this happen. And then you start talking to more of your coworkers. And I think that was the sort of miraculous part of this whole deal is, I work a fairly isolated job. Like I did work in the San Francisco office for a while, but I'm an investigative journalist. Most of my work is between me and my editor. I just sort of like sit in my corner and tippy tappy all day, and then the article comes out. And so I don't get to work very closely with a lot of the really incredible people at IGN. But through this, I've gotten to talk to basically every single one of my coworkers. And hey, they're fucking awesome. Everybody that works at IGN is a hardcore, badass, talented, funny, and smart. And like getting to know everybody and the work that they do and learning that we have so much in common, like even the people who do very different jobs from me, like we have a lot in common in the sorts of things that we care about at work, the things that we want out of our jobs, the fact that we love our jobs and want to do really well at them, the things that we wish were different and the things that we wish were the same or would stay the same no matter what happens in the media industry. And so like finding that out, that I had so much in common with these people who I'd never otherwise gotten to talk to, was like so cool and fulfilling. And, we were able to sort of pool that energy and turn that into something really cool.
Oh,
That's awesome.
It's especially in like the last few years, it feels like have been so rough for layoffs in gaming media. And like, it's a territory we don't talk a ton about on the show because like we very pointedly are not here to be like conversation about media and journalism. So like we've made a few call outs of like solidarity when layoffs occur and like, because fucking fandom or somebody, right? But like it feels like for years we've been banging the drum of like, we need unions. No, that's not a silver bullet answer, but like unions are an essential part of the solution, and without them there's no solution. So like IGN's one of only a very small number of actual media unions in like mainstream gaming journalism, right?
Yeah, so it's sort of tricky, right? Because a lot of major journalism outlets are unionized. Like New York Times is unionized, San Francisco Chronicle is unionized, and then there are a lot of networks of sites that are unionized as well. So like Polygon is unionized under a larger network. Kotaku is unionized under a larger network, and they work together with a bunch of other sites. IGN is I guess sort of this. I don't want to say an anomaly because there's certainly plenty of websites out there that are kind of in the same category as it in this regard. But we cover games, entertainment, and tech, but we are the largest covering that space specifically to my knowledge. And so we were able to unionize by ourselves for that reason. We did not need to partner up with other websites to do it. There are a lot of video game websites out there that are not unionized, but a lot of them honestly are so much smaller. They only have like a single digit number of staff members. Maybe they're based like all around the globe, which like, collective action doesn't have any requirements, right? Like you can do a collective action with whoever, but for a legal NLRB recognized union, you do kind of all need to be based in the United States. So, we unfortunately could not unionize, for instance, with our colleagues at IGN who work in the United Kingdom, even though we love them. And what?
Oh, Reb, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. I got a question after you're done.
We can't unionize with them legally because they're in the UK and we just can't do that. We support them and love them, but we can't. So that's another problem that a lot of these websites have is a lot of them are just scattered all over the globe. A lot of them use a lot of freelancers and contractors, which is a whole other thorny issue. So again, you don't need to follow any of these rules to do collective action and to have solidarity with your coworkers. But if you want like fancy NLRB legal protections, you kind of need to have certain things. And so, yeah, that is why IGN is a little bit of an anomaly in that field, is just because we're a very unique site.
Well, and that's, I was going to ask, like, you talk about, Tara, don't breathe into the mic. I was going to ask about why, so you mentioned that, like, other journalistic outlets that are not in gaming have unionized, like other industries have unionized. Why has it taken it so long for entities in the gaming industry to kind of catch up to this? Is it because that so many of them are spread out across the globe?
Well, so are you asking about video games or about media? Because we're a media entity. We're not a gaming entity.
Okay, so like I guess specifically media, like as a media entity then.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it just goes back to what I said before. Like a lot of media entities are already unionized. A lot of very large papers of note have unions already, and I hesitate to say most of them just because I don't know what the stats are on that. But unions in journalism, buddy, they've been around. Like, heck yeah, journalist unions are a whole thing. I do think, I guess to get more at the point that I think you're getting at, I do think that the games coverage space is maybe catching up a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, for the reasons that I stated, like a lot of websites, it's very difficult for them to do so for all these various obstacles. But also, yeah, because like the unions conversation within the game spheres is just now kind of starting to pick up steam. And I think it would be silly of me to try to say that, oh, the fact that we are now seeing, all these unions across film and TV, take actual, like, very public action, like, I'm sure that helped, move the needle a little bit. We're starting to see more and more game studios unionize, and we're covering them because that is newsworthy. And so we're reading about it more, and we're learning a little bit about what people say the benefits are. And so, getting that information is just really helpful, and normalizing that conversation.
No, that makes perfect sense. Fucking Tara.
She gassing you out. Oh, well, he's gone.
All right.
So there is, and I recognize we kind of covered that, like, we can't go too deep into this.
Yeah.
But just recently, we had a small number of layoffs at IGN of union protected employees, and it kind of seems like it was 3, right? 3 people. It kind of seems like those 3 got thrown to the wind in a way that... Why don't you, in your words, kind of explain the situation of why this feels like something that you had to pick a fight over?
Yeah, it was, man, it really sucked. Like we got voluntary recognition. Ziff Davis, our employer, did very quickly. They worked very quickly to voluntarily recognize us. It was great. We were really riding high, and then they let go of 3 of our coworkers, and Ziff Davis has told us that they made this decision before we unionized, and it was already in the cards, and therefore, there's not really a whole lot that we can do as a union to sort of negotiate over the fact that they are being laid off. Like, it's just, it's the thing that is happening. Down the line, if Ziff Davis wants to lay off more people post-union, they will have to actually come to us and negotiate over whether or not those layoffs even happen in the first place. But, if the decision was made beforehand, there's not a whole lot we could do. That said, we do still get to bargain over the effects of those layoffs. And so that's what we've been doing over the last several weeks. We've been going to the table with the management at Ziff Davis and having conversations about things like, how much severance do these people get? Are there other jobs we could potentially transfer them into? Is there, what other opportunities are there? How does this affect the rest of the unit? So there's a lot of different conversations we can have. It's certainly been challenging and not exactly how we wanted to start things off. But we're hopeful that we can reach some kind of agreement with Ziff Davis as to how this is going to go. And then we're also hopeful that down the line, we'll be able to negotiate for better layoff protections for the entire unit that will guarantee that we can get, a certain amount of severance, a certain like, there's a bunch of different protections unions can afford. We're going to be asking for things like a rehire list, where if they lay people off, then within a set amount of time, they would have to, if they wanted to post similar jobs to the ones that people have been laid off from, they would have to, put them back into those jobs. We're going to ask for things like, I don't even know. I'm having trouble remembering it all on the spot. There's a whole long laundry list of things that we really want. The amount of notification that they have to give us ahead of layoffs, because right now, legally there's no rules about, they just tell you when you're done. That's the law. You can kind of do whatever, but we'd be asking, okay, you have to give us X amount of notice. If you give us less notice, we need more money. So there's a whole bunch of different rules about that. And we're working together as a team to figure out what exactly we as a group want the most out of that. And then, we're taking that to the table with Ziff Davis, and we're going to hopefully have helpful and productive negotiations over what that ends up looking like in a contract.
Nice.
Reb, I got a question. How do I get
Yeah.
one of those sweet IGN union pins?
I love this, right? So we just had enough for the unit because we kind of, we were just sort of making them for ourselves at the time. We've talked about selling them. We've talked about printing more and giving them out. I was sort of regretting I was at GDC and I only had enough to give out to the rest of IGN from San Francisco. I was thinking, oh man, I wish I had just like ordered a bunch of these so I could just give them out to people. But yeah, currently no way to get them except by working at IGN and being a proud union member. But hopefully down the line there's a way.
So I guess like, how can people who support IGN and you know their unionization, like how can people who aren't part of IGN actually help and support? Like I know that there are very limited things that people on the outside
Sure.
looking in can do, but how can people like us show that support in a way that is as tangible as possible?
Yeah, so right now, I know Twitter is a hellscape, but following at IGN Union on Twitter and also on Instagram, just to get updates on what we're doing, is a really good way. The way that we are going to ask our community to support us is going to differ depending on what's going on. Like we asked people to sign a petition when we were trying to get voluntary recognition. We don't really need that anymore because we got our voluntary recognition. But there's going to be stuff like that in the future, I'm sure, that we're going to ask people to do. And when that happens, following us on our socials is a great way to know that is going on. And just generally like spreading the good word, like whenever any of those accounts is posting something, it's usually because we're trying to get the word out about something. And so spreading whatever it is, being positive about it, being nice to people who work at IGN. Is honestly really helpful.
That's asking a lot, Reb. That's asking a lot from the gamers, Reb.
Well, the internet's really bad, and sometimes people say mean things. And it's just nice to hear like positive language around what we're doing and support for the workers at IGN. Like, look, I'll be candid. Like people in games have opinions about IGN for better or for worse. And those opinions may or may not be based on actual factual things. A lot of times they're not. A lot of people have a lot of weird misconceptions about IGN. But as someone who has worked there for 3 years now and spoken to the vast majority of my coworkers in the process of getting this union together, we have a really fucking incredible staff that's made up of like genuinely really kind and empathetic people who are all just showing up every day and doing their best to like talk about video games and TV and movies and tech.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity it is that we work, whether that's video or written content or social or whatever else. And we're all just really doing our best out here. And I think a lot of the people who are like weird and mean to IGN actually haven't read it in a really long time.
No,
frankly.
Well, it's like that one post you guys did about Helldivers and the currency or whatever, and they even did like a Twitter community note, and it was all stuff that was actually talked about in the article,
In the fucking
proving
article.
that nobody actually read it.
So good. It was so
anti-media bias and propaganda, unfortunately, runs very, very deep in heavily consumer-based entertainment.
Oh yeah, and a lot of it is just like weird internet people. Like the thing that you do learn from this job is you find out that like 98% of the community isn't chronically online.
I can
like
bring up IGN to a bunch of people in real life, and a lot of people will know what IGN is and not have strong opinions other than like, oh yeah, they talk about like games and movies and stuff. Yeah, I know what that is.
Exactly. Like they just open up an article, they read it, and then they're like, "Oh, cool, that's nice," and then they move on. And like, honestly, that's fine. That's fulfilling. If like my job is to provide information to people, so if someone just reads it and goes, "Yes, I now am informed," great, I've done my job. But yeah, like it is kind of overwhelming sometimes. So yeah, like IGN Union on Twitter and Instagram. Keep up with what we're doing. Share the things we post and be vocal. Like genuinely, every single voice when we are trying to push for something, when we are asking for support or spreading the word on something, every single voice genuinely helps. Like hearing from our audience that they care about these things, hearing from developers that they care about these things, hearing from other people that they care about these things and want the workers to be able to have a voice in the conditions under which they work, which is really all we're asking. It's really powerful and it means a lot. So if you ever think that, oh, me just like quote tweeting this and saying, hell yeah, is not going to do anything. It genuinely really does. Yeah. So we love to hear it.
Because people see that shit, like people see that shit. And there is a very, very large comfort in knowing that you're supported.
Oh yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are bumping up against our time here, but Reb, it is just so nice to see you again.
Always a delight.
Aw, it's lovely to come back. Thank you for
And,
having me.
Yeah, like sorry if I haven't seemed super enthusiastic tonight. I'm fucking beat.
You're so tired. You've been
Oh, buddy,
moving.
you're good.
You've been
And
packing and
everybody
moving.
just came back from PAX East
Yeah.
too.
Well,
like you're good.
John was at PAX for a week and then immediately started moving.
Oh, he was moving
Oh
before
my
PAX
God.
too. So
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I took a break from moving to come to PAX, and I'm still moving, as you can see behind me. And it's just been a just oh.
the liquor's the
Moving is
last
worse.
thing to go 'cause
Christine
he
wants
needs
to
it.
move one more time, and I told her I'm dying in this house. I'm not gonna fucking move again. Carry me out of here.
Yeah, no, this is the last time. This is the last time I'm moving. Like you're gonna have to burn the new house down with me in it as an old
Oh
man.
my god.
To actually get me to leave that thing. But Reb, everybody watching this should know how to find you, but just in case they don't.
Let's see. Well, I do still exist on Twitter at Duck Valentine, but I'll say this. I have a big report coming in the next week or so that I will be posting on Twitter and then running away very fast. And I genuinely
Hell
don't know if I'll come back after that. The platform is run by Nazis.
really is.
I'm not especially interested in being there anymore. I am on Blue Sky at Duck Valentine at Blue Sky Social or .Blue Sky Social, whatever the hell that ending is. It's at Duck Valentine. It's the same profile. And you can also find my work at ign.com/person/Duck Valentine. I guess I'm not really anywhere else. I'm on IGN's Nintendo Voice Chat podcast most weeks. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love that show.
And you're on here from time to time.
And I'm on here from time to yeah. I've been on
Yeah,
twice in the last couple months.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's a
little
trend.
more
That's a
often.
trend that I would like to continue.
Maybe we could do this
To
a
be
little more
perfectly
often.
honest with you.
Yeah. The
All
cat
right,
would like
well-
it too. The cat is interested as well.
Very
We
opinionated.
will.
Luke, I'm about ready to
We
pick you
will-
up. Come here, I'm gonna pick
Cat
you up.
has
We'll go ahead.
thoughts.
Let's go ahead. I will say that next week I'm doing something very cool that I'm going to tell the members of the podcast here after we not live anymore, but I can't say it publicly yet. But I am doing something very cool that I am very excited about. That is one vocal cat. Is that Robo?
That's Luca. She's so
Okay.
mad.
That cat's like, put me the fuck down.
She loves me with all her heart and would not hurt me, and also is so pissed off that I'm doing
Love
this.
this loud
Yeah.
baby. Love it.
Yeah.
Not happy. All right. Well, we will go ahead and sign off here. Not sign on. I can't do another podcast right now. Thank you
Sean's
everyone
ready
in chat
for an hour
for
and a half.
no. No. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned next week. I got something cool coming next week. And until then, remember everyone, kindness costs nothing. We'll see you later.